Good evening, Sweet World, and welcome to the No Dunks Bubble Wrap, recapping the NBA action from July 31st down in Orlando. Shout out to everyone joining us live right now on YouTube, and of course to all you diehards out there firing up the podcast later on the Athletic Network, Apple, Spotify, wherever you download your No Dunks classics. I'm J.E. Skeets, and joining us here on a Friday night, we got the homie, Tass Mellis.
Pop, people.
What's up, Tassie? We got the bearded one, Trey Kirby.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo. The international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And last but not least, making the magic happen, JD.
Hello.
There he is. And here we are. My God, do we have a lot to talk about. And I don't know about you guys, but quite frankly, I'm somehow exhausted from watching, 8-9 hours worth of NBA basketball today. I was joking that it feels like this is like the NBA version of March Madness. It's just game after game after game. It's great, don't get me wrong, but by the end of it, I'm like blurry-eyed and I got a little bit of a hangover from watching too much ball, a bit of a headache. Tass, you're shaking your head. It's a lot, man. This is taxing.
Yeah, you know what they say. I mean, there's no substitute for game flow and game feel, right? I mean, you go months without it, it's just not the same. You can practice sitting on your couch all you want, but it's until you get into a game where you finally have to have that endurance. And here we are, tired.
Yeah, and you want to right now, because we've been missing basketball for so many months, you do really want to get your eyes on every game. And we're going to do our best to talk about a lot of them from today. We won't get to every single game in great detail, but yeah, it's like Nora's like, do you have to watch them all? And I'm like, well, no, but I sort of want to because every game, especially these first couple of days of the seeding games, Lee, every game sort of does matter, which we saw in a couple of these big ones today.
And it's the overlap as well. The first day of the playoffs, that first weekend, it's like one game and then it's another and then it's another and it's another. It goes for 12 hours, but there's no overlap. Today, you look on your screen, you're like, oh my God, there's another game going on here. And then that one, before that one finishes, another game tips off. And so you just don't know which game to tune into, but you have to sort of follow Twitter to see who's going off. Like De'Aaron Fox is having a great game. All right, what's going on in that game? I better check it out. So it is hard. You have to sort of choose which game you're going for, because if you keep switching, I find you end up not knowing anything about either game. So you have to kind of say, I'm in this lane for this game and I'll try to catch up with the other one later.
Yeah, I think you're right. The other thing is, I don't watch when I'm watching playoff games or big games. I don't like to be on Twitter. I don't like to be a part of the conversation. I know some of you guys do it a little differently, but I just lose my focus. And I like to really zero in on the game. But I had dual screens going here, guys. I was like Joe Borgia up in this office, man, looking at everything. And I think that's a part of the I just took in so much of watching and then reading the tweets.
You'll get your game legs soon, man. You'll get your game butt. It's your game butt. I mean, we're sitting on our couch. We're not moving. I had a little workout during the game.
Smart.
Gets you going.
Absolutely. I took a yoga with Adrian break. I'll drop a link eventually. It's the office break yoga. Anybody can do it. 14 minutes. It's perfect at a halftime. You got to get that stretch in.
That's smart. That's very smart. One of the later games, exactly. I moved my desk chair out of the way and I was just doing some weird stretching. I wasn't doing yoga or anything, but I was just stretching a little bit. Just standing up.
Your squats is a key one there, because that can keep your focus on the screen. You can get down and up and down and up. And it's great for the glutes. It's great for everything.
Squats up, people.
Well, the games must have been pretty damn entertaining, Lee, because you got great energy right now, man. I think you got more energy than last night.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I was drinking this afternoon. I'm not sure. No, that would have put me to sleep.
Cheers to that. I'm not going to shotgun this tonight, but hey, it's Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing this for the next couple of months, I suppose. So, maybe the energy's high now. Come the end of the season, might not be quite so perky. We'll see.
Yeah. JD's the man. I don't know if you're watching 8 or 9 hours of basketball during the day, JD, but you are the one staying up the latest to get this bad boy up.
It appears that way, yes. I took in some of the last game there, but it was Lincoln's birthday today, so we were.
All right. Happy birthday. How tall is he now? Is he Boban height?
He's 8'6".
Every photo you share on your social media channels, he's just getting longer and longer.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. I really got to get him into basketball.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, happy birthday to Lincoln. That's awesome. So we're going to play a little true or false here. guys, tonight on the bubble wrap. We're not going to get to every single game. So apologies to, King Spurs fans out there. We just couldn't do it. But some of the bigger games, some of the bigger stories from this Friday, we'll start us off with true or false. The last game of the day was Rockets defeating the Mavericks. Of course, we got overtime, delaying this show a little bit here live on YouTube, but the Rockets pulled it off unbelievably. 153-149. Not a typo. It was an overtime game, so there was an extra 5 minutes, but listen to that score, 153-149. James Harden, a monster game. More scoring lead than a 5-day-long cricket test match. Am I right? Did I ever say that? I don't know.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Actually, there was a lot of runs in the pitch. Maybe if we're out in Johannesburg, that's a pitch where you get a lot of runs out there.
It's a fast pitch, isn't it?
Well, it's not necessarily fast.
No, it's slow, isn't it? It's very slow. Flat,
it's fast. It's easy to score on. Yeah.
So huge score, 153-149. The Rockets pull it off. And we'll get into the game. But the first question is true or false. Lee, you get us started here. You've seen better defense in an all-star game. True or false?
Well, at halftime, I would have said absolutely true. But in the second half, I'm going to say false because I actually saw some really incredible defensive plays. Robert Covington himself made some incredible blocks. He blocked Porzingis at the rim, and he got a block on Luka Doncic, which was actually called a foul initially and then overturned because it was such a clean block. And he had a couple of, I think he ended up with 4. Russell Westbrook had some incredible pokeaways and steals. Yep. And James Harden, when he gets that caboose down low, it's virtually impossible to get past him. And a couple of times he really held his ground and put the effort in there and made some big plays for his team. This was a dumb game. This was a stupid game. The Mavericks are going to be looking back at this and think, how on earth did we lose? Seth Curry only had to hit, he hit 1 of 2 free throws late there. If he hits both, and I would have put my house on Seth Curry hitting both of those, the game's over. But instead, a crazy thing happens where James Harden goes to the free throw line, hits the first one. The Rockets are down by 2. James Harden tries to hit the second one, misses. Robert Covington gets a tip in. It goes to overtime. The Rockets win. But honestly, I was impressed with the individual defensive moments that I saw. As a teams, no, garbage. Both of them. Like one pass and you got a guy open in the corner for a 3, and everyone seemed to hit him. Trey Burke hit 8 out of 10, which was incredible. But this was a fun, dumb, stupid, weird game that honestly the Mavericks deserved to win, should have won, but somehow the Rockets did.
Yeah, but is there selective memory, like you're saying? You're like, oh, that was a nice defensive play. Oh, that was nice. 99% of the other possessions, there was not a lot of defense. But it was fun, yeah.
Shot 40% from 3. It was awesome. Maybe there is some truth to the rumors coming into the bubble. People are like, the sightlines are pretty good. You got to love the sightlines. It's paying off so far. But it is selective memory because you think, man, Houston can actually play some defense if they really lock in, but it's like a total of 5 plays throughout the game, but they're all highlight plays. So you love to see that, but I don't know, for this to be the last game of a long first day, what else could you ask for?
Yeah. And this is just going to motivate the Rockets even more to play less defense because they just played and beat a historically great offense, the best offense in the NBA. And they won. They just said, hey, we'll outscore the best offense in the NBA. And they did it because of a crazy swim move, because Robert Covington has been getting down to that pool at the Grand Floridian and working on that stroke. And it was an awesome move, like a nice defensive lineman getting around an offensive line. Did James Harden mean to miss that? I don't know. I guess I'm not sure. I mean,
I don't think so.
You don't think he?
Yeah, you never want to give him credit, man.
Yeah.
Actually, we got a comment. We got a comment on our YouTube from *Jake. He said, not only did Lee have to stay up this late, he had to stay up to watch and discuss a superb James Harden performance.
James Harden tonight was brilliant for the most part of the game. I thought offensively early on, he had 23 points, I think, in the first quarter. He had it going. He was going inside, and he was being a maestro on offense as far as going inside and scoring when it was there and moving the ball around. And then on the defensive end, as I've mentioned already, he was great. When he plays like that.
Great.
I would not say he was great. Now you're giving him too much.
He's got quick hands sometimes.
Yeah, there was times where a guy would blow by him baseline, and then he would just turn around and look at Jeff Green or something. Come on, who's coming? coming.
Of course that happened. He got in foul trouble too. I think he had 4 at halftime. So the fact that he even stayed in the game is quite remarkable. But my beef with James Harden is not on games like tonight, even though he did have 21 free throws still. It's when he goes out fishing for those free throws, which I didn't think he was doing tonight. He was getting him in the flow of his game and his offense. And again, he got his team to that point because Westbrook was okay. I mean, he shot badly, but Westbrook gave them a lot of energy and got a lot of life. But James Harden, he didn't shoot all that well from downtown, 3 of 9. But I thought tonight he just controlled the offense in a smarter way for the Rockets rather than just going out there, flopping and diving and jumping all over the place. So credit to him. I'm in love.
It was, I think it was you, Lee, that tweeted, it was like a real life Spider-Man meme where Luka versus Harden. I mean, there are so many similarities, just the way they play, the size of them, what they can do with the ball, how they move. There are, especially the step back one was the one I think you tweeted that Luka did that was like on Harden. That was like, whoa, that was Harden's move there. Exactly how he takes it. But
can't wait to see the tweets when he maybe intentionally misses a free throw. Then the truth will come out.
I mean, that would be, look, we've talked to Bones before about this. He's told stories in Spurs practice where him and Ginobili and I forget who else would like intentionally try to put the ball on free throws in particular spots for it to bounce a certain way for these scenarios. Now, I have no idea if Harden was like, hey, Bobby, do your little swim move. Come around to the other side. I'm going to kiss it off that side. I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't think he did. I think I sort of agree with Lee on that one. May have gone for the hit or the make and missed it, but it worked out. What an insane game. Does anyone have any faith in either of these teams to go far in the postseason because of the way they play? It's just purely offense and there isn't a ton of defense? Or is it they can win maybe a series for sure. 2, maybe you're rolling your eyes. 3, no way type of thing.
I'll take this one because I made the prediction before the show and the last few weeks that the Rockets were going to suffer because of their lack of continuity after the trade deadline, playing small. PJ Tucker already complaining about their defense not talking first practice in the bubble. And then Eric Gordon goes down. So I thought the Mavericks would jump them in the standings. And maybe they would have if James Harden missed when he didn't miss or whatever. If that free throw went down and the Mavericks were only a game and a half back and they could jump over them. And so a lot of people are asking me to apologize to the Houston Rockets because now they're good. So yeah, now they're great. But there's no way I would trust them to win multiple series. No possible way they're playing against a slower team here with the Mavericks. I think you could take something from their scrimmages where they weren't getting back on defense. When they play a faster team, like if they did drop to the 7th seed and play the Clippers, who actually play a little fast, I think they'd get destroyed in transition. Even though the Clippers aren't a huge team, I think you get in transition with these dudes, then you're going to get destroyed on the boards because you're out of position. I guess you're going to outscore them. I guess that's all they care about. But I would not trust them when it gets real tough in a series to win 4 games. You can win a few games this way, though. Because your offense is friggin' good. Very, very, very good.
It's just you're going to run out of gas. You're asking so much when you play this way from the guys. Like, hey, like give it all on the offensive end. The ball's going to zip around. You're going to get up a ton of shots. We're going to take them quick. But, you also have to, play defense. And the Mavs did the right thing when you play, I think, the Rockets. Stretch them out. Don't worry about this, pocket Rockets. They're small, so let's post up, guys. You don't need to do that. You actually, if you stretch the floor, it's like one mistake, and then it's going to be a layup for you because these guys are being just forced to, rotate a whole lot, and they don't have the energy or they don't have the desire to do it for at least, 48 minutes. So I thought the Mavs had the right game plan, but it was, they were just unfortunately sort of doing the same thing on the other end defensively because there's not a lot that they're not a lot of force they're putting on that end either, Trey.
That's right. Keep that ball moving because the Rockets got to play it perfectly, like we're saying, to be an effective defense. They got to really be tied together, and the more passes there are, the more chances there are to break down. So that's definitely the smartest way to do it. But are you going to trust either of these teams in the playoffs? Like Tess is saying, probably not. You can win a lot of games, though. The Warriors almost lost to the Rockets. It was that close. You could get to the Western Conference Finals. You can be a game away from a championship? What if it goes the other way? That's what you're always thinking if you're a Rockets or a Mavericks fan. But I don't know. I hate defense. I hate rebounding. But even I will admit that it is a
play some of it.
Playing time, like playoff time. You actually do occasionally need to end the other team's possessions. To prevent them from scoring is advantageous at times, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, Lee, you're always worried about Ja Morant, and we're going to get to him in that game a little bit later here. But you're always worried about how he attacks and he jumps in the air and he's going to land awkwardly and, twist a knee or break something. I actually have that feeling when I watch the Rockets and PJ Tucker is coming in, help defense, sliding under, trying to challenge somebody. I'm like, if they lose PJ Tucker, it's a wrap. He's so important, and Robert Covington too did a lot of, at times really great defensive things as well. But like, he is just so damn important to this team defensively. And it's like, they just gave up 49 points, whatever I said. Yeah. Like, if he takes one of those goes bad and,
he did. He
did
exactly.
Tonight. That's what I mean. I'm always holding my breath when it happens.
Yeah, he got one in the hibbits for sure there late in the game because Doris and Mark Jones are talking about how many shoes he's got, because you just know when he's on the ground, that's the thing they're going to bring up, that he's got a whole suite for his sneakers down there, which is incredible. But this is the gamble that Daryl Morey took, basically saying we're just going to try to outrun everybody, and it worked for them tonight. But PJ Tucker, he's obviously not tall, but he's a big body and he can absorb a little bit of contact. But outside of him, the Rockets virtually have nobody. I know Tyson Chandler's on the bench, but he doesn't get in. And even if he does, he only plays a handful of minutes. So they really don't have any height at all. And PJ's the only sort of body they have that can stay down there and match up with, who's he going to match up with? Like Anthony Davis? Like, no chance really there. So, the Rockets, it's all about just trying to win the contest on the offensive end. And I mean, if they run into the Clippers, they've had some great games against the Clippers already this season, but you just think of those defenders that the Clippers have there, like Pat Bev coming at you, Paul George, Kawhi, obviously, like they can just throw so many different guys at Harden and at Westbrook, and eventually I just don't think the Rockets can outrun a team like that. So I think maybe they can get out of the first round if they face the Nuggets, perhaps, but certainly not against the Clippers.
Yeah, that's one thing to watch here in these seeding games. I know for the most part, because there's no home court advantage, it's like, who cares if you're 4 or 5? Who cares if you're 3 or 6, to be honest? Like, there is that, but like, nobody wants to be 7th, right, Tass? Like, where the Mavericks are right now, where the Rockets could have slipped down too closer. The Rockets are actually now in 5th, I believe ahead of the Thunder. Technically, the Thunder are going to play tomorrow for sure, but it's like, you don't want 7th. So that's like, there's a lot of teams that could be 7th. You're a lot happier if you're 6, 5, or 4, obviously. Like, you might feel like you have a better chance to get out of the first round at the very least, right?
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm sure James Harden is very, very happy that he missed that free throw. Otherwise, they had a real shot of dropping down into the 7 hole. But now they're looking good to stay in that glut of teams that are sort of 3 to 6. The Mavs are now 2 games back of the Thunder. 4-6, but otherwise they would have been half game back of the Rockets. So that's big. It was a big win. It was a big swim move, real big swim move.
Big swim move. Who used to do the swim move? What, Reggie White? I don't know.
Oh, probably. He had all the moves. Lawrence Taylor.
Bruce Smith. He must have done it.
Oh, Bruce Smith. No doubt about it. Michael Strahan.
Sure. Yeah, keep naming them. Come on, give me the sack guys. Lawrence Taylor. No, Lawrence Taylor was just pure power.
Derek Thomas. How about Derek Thomas? He's a classic.
Sure. I like that name. I remember that guy. Played for the Chiefs, didn't he?
There you go. There you go. A little Tecmo Super Bowl.
Talking football. All right, let's keep it going.
I know we're not going to talk a lot about the Sacramento Kings, but since you brought up football, I saw Rex Chapman tweet, the first time I saw De'Aaron Fox of the Sacramento Kings, it was the closest I've seen to the foot speed of Deion Sanders on a basketball floor.
Wow.
That was a quick tootsies. That's a good.
No wonder I love De'Aaron Fox so much. I was a huge primetime fan. That makes sense. All right, well, let's keep it going here. Like I said, we got tons here. This is going to be a long show. JD's going to be up until the morning. True or false? Well, I actually should tell you what the heck it is first. The Blazers, the other overtime game of the day, they took control of overtime, got a big win versus the Grizzlies, 140 to 135. Also high scoring. Incredibly fun game. Collins and Nurkic back for the Blazers. Melo looking fit. Ja Morant struggling, then had it going. But true or false, Tass, we'll go to you here. One of these teams, either the Grizzlies or the Blazers, is a lock to be the Western Conference 8th seed?
I think this is the matchup we're going to get in the Mega Bowl, and I'll make this quick because we could use some quick topics here. I think it's as simple as that. I think the Grizzlies are not going to get bounced out of the 8th seed, and I think we're talking about every win mattering here in the seeding games. The Pelicans loss really hurt them, and I think the Blazers, they look solid with their full lineup. With Yusuf Nurkic, I was surprised how good he looked.
He looked great.
Yeah, I believe in this team to be there in the 9th seed, even though they've got a tough schedule. It could be any of those teams down there other than the Suns. They should be sent home immediately. But I think it's sort of a moral victory for the Memphis Grizzlies anyways. They came down here. They could have got blown out by the Blazers, but in the third quarter, they came back. They're a young team. They're in the quote unquote postseason. I think it could have been a time where they just faded, and they know that they can play with these guys. So they still have to be beaten twice if they do face each other in the Mega Bowl because of the weird rules, and the Blazers would just have to lose once. So I think they feel good. I think they should feel good, and I don't think they're going to get passed by 2 teams. There's just no chance. So they'll be in the Mega Bowl if there is one, and I think the Blazers will beat that other team because they're solid. But sort of like the Rockets and Mavs, they're up for giving up some points too. So you're never really
No doubt.
You're not out of it with the Blazers.
I wouldn't be upset though with Grizzlies-Blazers Mega Bowl. Playing once or twice to see who gets that 8th seed. Trey, this is really entertaining. I love this game. And again, Ja was struggling, but then he turned it on there in the third quarter. Nurk, like Tass said, 18-9, 6 blocks, 5 assists, 2 steals. This was awesome. And then Lillard and CJ going off as well.
Yeah, this one really had it all. Shout out to Stefan. To me, this was the best Blazers team we've seen all season, right? Like they're the healthiest they've been. They had all of their big guys back, even though Nurkic and Collins ended up fouling out. Hassan Whiteside, we've had some problems with him earlier in the season, but if he's your third big coming off the bench, that's fine. Melo hit a couple of those huge shots. It was just such a great veteran win, I thought, for the Blazers. It seemed like they were playing for their playoff lives. And it was awesome to see McCollum and Lillard taking over down the stretch, getting in the lane whenever they needed to, whether it was a drop off to somebody, a kick out, or a pull up, or a tough layup. They were just getting in the lane and making something happen. That was an awesome win. And yeah, for the Grizzlies, you saw ways that they can exploit the Blazers, right? If they're going to have these big guys back, once the Grizzlies were able to get out in transition, Ja really flourished, and they looked really tough there in that third quarter, especially.
Oh yeah, that stretch where John Morant, he hit a 3. Melo sagged way off him, so he stepped into that, hit that with some confidence. Then there was a slick, like super fast layup in transition through traffic, and then right after that, another stop. He finishes the huge 2-handed oop, and that was like really got them back into the game and set up this awesome ending. But I don't know, can we even live drop in the classic Melo, JD? I'm not sure. You might have to do it in the podcast. There it is. Yeah. What a big shots from skinny Melo there, Lee, to give the Blazers the win here, really.
He looked like Olympic Melo to me in that role there, because CJ and Dame were playing so well, and it was like, Melo, just sit in the corner, wait for it, and get that shot and knock it in. And there was that one late off that incredible pass from Damian Lillard to CJ, and then CJ found Melo in the corner and he hit it. And that's the sort of role that Melo really can potentially thrive in, where it's like, you don't have to do much, but the ball's going to come to you because we need another guy who can knock down shots. And I think in this game, the Blazers had a comfortable lead at halftime, and I think they kind of just came out in that third quarter thinking like, we've got this game, because Morant was awful in the first half. He couldn't get anything going. And then the Grizzlies picked it up, and then it was almost like the big brothers of CJ and Dame were like, oh, hang on a minute, we got to sort of fight to get this game back, and they did. CJ was incredible. When he wants to get it going, he's got so much belief in himself in those shots. I mean, they're not always the sexiest shots as far as like their deep twos a lot of the time, and he sort of he dribbles around a lot and gets to his spot. That's not the sort of shot that's favored in the NBA right now, but he's got it going, and he made a couple of really nice moves out there, and the Blazers got the win. But I certainly thought after that third quarter, I thought the Grizzlies are back in it. Jaren Jackson again. We've talked a lot this year about his 3-point shooting. He's a good 3-point shooter, but man, he fires away sometimes. And
so does Brooks. I mean, there's a couple.
Yeah.
Of guys that are happy on the Grizzly team. Yeah.
I mean, 2020, man.
Yeah, Jackson went 6 for 15. Brooks went 2 for 9, and Morant went 1 for 7 from downtown. So they were firing away. And the other thing with Jackson, his mechanics aren't great either. And it's like, wow, that looks awful. But he hit 6 of them. He had 33 points in the end. And overall, his percentage is not too bad. But yeah, it just doesn't feel. I don't have all that much confidence in his shot, even though he has been knocking them down a lot this season.
Yeah, I do like either of these teams if they are the 8th seed, and I think they are going to be too. Like Tass said, I think it's going to be one of these teams. I've picked the Grizzlies. I made that prediction. They're going to be a tough out for the Lakers at the number 1. I think we're going to have a really good first round series between the 1 and 8. I think a Grizzlies or a Blazers, of course, with Dame and CJ leading the way, they could take a couple games. I really, truly believe that. And that is not a knock against the Lakers. That's just how much I believe in both of these teams. But fun game. And when Lillard and CJ go for 62 points together, 15 assists, and you said that pass, Lee, was incredible. I think you posted that one as well. You were working the video today, man. CJ Zero over here.
That's what I'm saying, man. When you get into those games, it was a tight game as well, and you see it. And I looked again, the same as last night. I looked, no one had it up. I'm like, all right, bang, I'll get her up. You gotta get.
I like that you always check to see if somebody else has posted it before you do it.
If Worldwide Wob's got it up already, it's like there's no point. I mean, everyone's going to see it anyways. But no one had it, so I thought, all right, fine, I'll do the job.
Connoisseur's choice.
Yeah, and you said you thought Skinny Mellow, Bubble Mellow, let's call him, was looking like Olympic Mellow. Of course, there's Hoodie Mellow. I mean, how are you ranking? How are you ranking the mellows? Like, who's the greatest mellow of all time? And then what order do we?
Well, I think Mellow.
Mellow?
I think
Mellow's number 1. I
think Olympic Mellow is a thing with him. It's like, man, when he was on that team where he wasn't the number 1 player, when he was like 3rd, 4th, or 5th, even further down perhaps, that was when he thrived the best because he can be a catch and shoot guy and he's a great scorer. But when he's the guy on the team trying to carry a team, he wasn't as effective as a player. I mean, he was good still for New York, but I think his best, his career, you're going to look at things like the Olympics and go, man, he was great in that environment. And as I mentioned earlier, you got Dame and CJ getting baskets. So that's where the defense is focused. Melo's out there. He can shoot. He's still a good shooter and that's all he needs to do.
Right. So, okay. Olympic Melo at the top, and then maybe Hoodie Mellow or just Classic Mellow or Bubble Mellow.
Yeah, put Bubble Mellow as at least on the Mellow Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I think he's got to be after one game for sure. All right, let's keep it going here. Celtics Bucks, big fourth quarter from Giannis, helps lead the Bucks to the 119-112 win over the C's. Oh, the Beantown boys were upset with this game. Giannis was a monster. Tatum, brutal. 2 of 18. From the floor. Oh boy. Refs maybe even worse than Tatum's game. Combined 68 free throw attempts, 54 personal fouls called. So here's the fun question with this one. Trey, we'll start with you. True or false? The bubble environment here, it's only been 2 days, but the bubble environment is affecting the officials negatively.
I mean, it's true. Fouls are back, baby. Unfortunately, I feel for the referees, though. There's no way they've seen a 7-foot-tall person in months. They should have been laying the groundwork from the start. I should have seen tweets from Scott Foster. I haven't picked up a whistle in months. I got to work my way back. Yeah.
Right.
It's not like they can't get the guys together to practice in the first place, let alone bring referees in there to get their eyes back, kind of time to get refreshed on what a foul really is. I also feel like it's a little similar to the first couple of weeks in the season where you're going to call everything in the world to kind of set the rules and set the boundaries. But between Anthony Davis last night and Giannis today, it's like the shock of seeing these gigantic humans who can move this fast. It seems to be throwing people off.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on last night's Bubble Wrap. You guys actually sort of agreed with me a little bit, and I tweeted it out, and I got a lot of response too. This idea of it's so quiet in these arenas comparatively to real basketball and an actual 18,000, 19,000, 20,000 fans in an arena that you wonder if the refs are hearing the slapping, the contact tasks, the grunting from an offensive player. Are they being affected because they can literally just hear the contact a little bit more? I think there could be something there, truthfully, because these guys, I mean, we've sat close at Summer League games, other games, they bump each other, they hit each other every damn play. Every single play, there is contact made. between, some of the most athletic people in the world, and you got to decide, is that a foul or not? I think like hearing it might make you more inclined to call the whistle a little bit more. But maybe Trey's right too. Maybe it's just they're rusty or they're just trying to set the rules. What do you think, Taz?
Well, it definitely worked for Daniel Tice when he buckled when Giannis hit him in the stomach, because he buckled and Giannis had 5 fouls, and everybody thought the combination of him bending in half and him yelling meant that Giannis got him in the Hibberts.
Right.
Neither happened. And so they went to check if it was a flagrant foul. Because
a hostile act.
Yeah. Where did that word come from?
Yeah,
I've never heard that. I've never heard that before. Is that a new Jason Phillips ad since he's taken over for Joe Borgia? I don't know. But it was neither. And the Beantown boys want him kicked out for his 6th foul because he there was a pick set and Giannis went to go break up a pick, and just because he literally bent over and yelled. Nothing. That was a basketball play. Stuff happened. Like a guy gets touched, and the other end is different. Yeah, there's lots of fouls called in a lot of games today. I mean, I think Trey's reasoning does make sense. The Spurs Kings one was a pretty normal volume, not as many drivers there, I think. So maybe that's the case, but I don't know what the Beantown boys are all that mad at, and I think Jaylen Brown went a little too far with that Instagram post. Too far, my man. I don't know.
Yeah, explain that.
You can't restory a post these days. Come on.
Taz, explain that for someone that doesn't know what you're talking about. Jaylen Brown, what he posted.
He posted, Photoshop. I'm not sure if this is a known photo, but it's Giannis Antetokounmpo with Ken Mauer, right?
Yeah, it is. It's Kenny Mauer for sure.
Photoshopped Giannis's face on somebody who's holding the hand of Ken Mauer's hand because they're buds.
So implying that he gets all the calls.
He gets the call.
Or doesn't get calls that would kick him out of the game.
But or doesn't. He had 5 fouls. What's up with that?
Yeah. Okay. So there was, that's the funny part. There was 2 really, big incidences that involved Giannis. That one you just talked about where it was like, we're checking to see if it's a hostile act, a flagrant, whatever. Did he punch him in the Hibberts or not? And they say they didn't, but everybody's like, was it still not a foul? Okay. They say no. And then with about 1:30 to go, tie game, Giannis drives, does an awesome Euro step and goes for the finger roll. Marcus Smart slides in, Lee, or just outside the restricted zone. It was sort of bang, bang, takes the charge called. We're going the other way. Giannis, you're out. That's your 6th foul now. But they go look at that, review that one, and they determine that Smart was still sliding underneath Giannis and that it wasn't a charge. In fact, count the bucket, and he'll go to the line for the 3-point play. What did you think about that one as well? Did they get that one right in reviewing it and overturning it?
The NBA refs got that one right for sure. That one is always the hardest to call because you are technically still allowed to move at sometimes. You see that one called where a guy moves in, but Smart, his feet were sort of hovering over the restricted area there, and he does move his body in there like that. And I think that was the right call because Giannis is going in there, and as he goes up in the air, then Smart maneuvers his body into a position where Giannis basically has to hit him. So again, I think that the Celtics are obviously very pissed because they feel there was 2 fouls that were not called that should have gone to Giannis. But I'm sorry, Celtics and Beantown boys. I know it's only night 2 of the bubble, but the NBA got both of those right. The refs got both of those ones right. And look, that's just the way it goes. The Celtics, they Jason Tatum had an awful game. There's other reasons, but those 2 particular calls were called the right way. And the Celtics are just, they're upset. But really, they've got nothing to be upset about. Marcus Smart is a fantastic defender, but he does sometimes walk that line pretty thin. And again, that I hate it when a guy gets called for a charge when the other guy is still moving, but it does sometimes get called. I think you've got to be.
Sorry, Lee. Sorry, go ahead. Finish that thought.
No, I just say I think your feet have to be absolutely still before the guy takes off into the air before you can get called for a foul. But you see it sometimes. Guys are moving still, and they call it, and it's a cloudy call for mine.
Yeah, and there used to be some great offensive linemen, since we were talking linemen that pulled off that slide step, right? No, it's hard. How about a Kent
talking like an
Hall?
Orlando Pace, maybe?
Nice. I'm thinking of big boy centers. I like a Kent Hall. That's hard. John Dorenbos. But listen,
Tony Baselli.
nice. No, that's Samantha Maselli's dad.
Okay, go get to your point.
Boston, Milwaukee. Ken Maurer wasn't even reffing that game. Can't you?
For sure.
Can't you Photoshop James Capers, Kevin Scott, or Brent Barnaky on a guy's head, on a guy's body?
Can't you Photoshop Brent Barnaky?
Wow. Hold on, Brent Barnaky. That is maybe my favorite referee name. I didn't even know that one, to be honest. That's a good
Ken
one.
Maurer, the chief of the referees, maybe now.
Is he? Okay, wow.
I don't know.
That's next level. He's in
He's
charge
the
of all of
Alfred
them, Task.
community.
Threw it right back in your face. That's a great Photoshop. Very smart. Yeah, it's just unfortunate some of these games have been a little bit ruined for me, and I feel like a lot of, especially maybe the casual fan, like there's just, the flow gets ruined just because there is so many calls being whistled. So many. But still close games. It's exciting. Celtics were in this, but Giannis really did take it over. And, Beantown boys are going to look at that he got the benefit of the no call for not having to foul out, but he did hit some clutch baskets. I thought Middleton sort of late too made a beautiful pass there at one point, like in the middle to Giannis. That was gorgeous. He had a big 3-2. He always hits a big shot versus the Celtics, it feels like. So if we get this matchup, it's going to be intense, I think, because you got Marcus Smart already, talking junk too. He's probably gonna get fined, I think, Smart, for what he said, right? Like, he's basically saying what the Photoshop was saying, right?
Yeah.
He just came out and said a spade's a spade. I mean, they just want to keep him in the game because he would have fouled out. He's a superstar. He's an MVP type of guy, and they don't want him gone. And you got Jeff Van Gundy on the call going, I agree with that. He always wants to keep the stars around, Trey. He loves that.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to say it with a meme, Nobody gets mad at a meme. You just got to retweet it or screen cap it.
Yeah, you're probably right. Less likely that you would get fined for a meme, I think.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a way worse meme. And maybe a more accurate meme, right? Like you got to go the extra mile to get Brent Bernanke on there. Ben Bernanke? No.
What's his name? Brian Bernanke?
Who knows?
I think Ben Bernanke was the former federal chairman.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
thinking of Bill Barnacle.
Right. I think this is Brent Barnaky, but I think Ken Mauer's just a regular official. Either way, enough official talk. I would like to think for if I'm in the Celtics locker room, though, that it's a moral victory for us, right? Do you guys feel like, hey, we played a close game against the best team in the conference. If we face them, we feel friggin' good.
Because your star player, your star player sucked though. I mean, Jason Tatum's not going to go 2 of 18 again,
and they almost won.
Yeah. And Kemba limited minutes, right? Like they kept him to, I think it was 20 or something like that. Yeah, you feel pretty good. They've always, I think, like their chances of at least keeping games close and beating the Bucks. Yeah, you're right.
And I think this is an indicator that the home court advantage down there in Orlando, which is totally gone. It has been vaporized. This was a quote unquote home game for the Bucks, and they'd be home to every team in the Eastern Conference. I think that just makes every game a little bit closer. You lose that little boost, or the fact that road guys don't have to play against a hostile crowd, and you won't get those hostile calls. What was it? Was it a hostile call? Is that what
I think that's what they were trying to determine. Yes,
but I think they're closer games in general, and you just don't feel that home court advantage anymore. And so I don't think we're going to get those bloats anymore. I think road teams will feel like they're in it the entire time. And
maybe after 8 games we've played, the quote unquote home team, and I throw that in the air quotes there for listening to the podcast. I guess I said quote unquote, so I'm doing the air quotes too. I just doubled it up. Now it's too many quotes, but 4 for 8. So the home team has won 4 of these games, and the road team has won 4 of these games. So you're right, Tass.
They've been fairly close. Well, most of them have been fairly close. I don't know if I'm going to go the John Schumann route, but I want to know playoff games. I'm more concerned about the playoff games. There's a ton of blowouts in every playoff series. Home blowouts, a couple, 2 to 3, whatever it is. I feel like it's going to go down. I don't know if I'm going to go back and do the counting, but I feel like that it's going to go down just because of the situation.
Let's hope so. All right, we got a lot more still to tackle here, but before we do, quick word from our sponsors. Another 12 teams made their bubble debut today, and by the end of the weekend, all 22 teams will have played. And while the ending to this year's basketball season will be different than years past, there will be not a shortage of excitement, and there is no better place to get in on all the action than with DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy sports. To celebrate the return of basketball, DraftKings will have not one, but two $1 million top prizes through these first 2 days of the resumed season. Get in on all of this action now. If you haven't tried it yet, fantasy basketball, easy to play. Pick 8 players, stay under the salary cap, pile up the points for threes and boards and assists, and a whole lot more. There's no better way to put your basketball knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at $1 million, Lily. But if basketball isn't for you, don't worry. DraftKings is offering plenty of fantasy golf action for this week's tournament. Brendan Todd looking strong out there. Minus 11 last I checked. Keeping my eye on it. With millions of dollars up for grabs this week, there's no better place to have skin in the game than with DraftKings. Download the DraftKings app now. Use the promo code RUN, R-U-N, to get a free shot at millions of dollars up for grabs this week with your first deposit. That's promo code RUN to get a free shot at millions of dollars with your first deposit only at DraftKings. And this final part I would normally say like very, very fast, but it's way too late. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for the deets.
Folks, if you were to guess on average how many days people in the U.S. have to wait to see a doctor, take a complete guess. A total guess.
$1.
It's 29. We went over this.
It is 29.
Yes.
Around 29 days to see a doctor in major U.S. cities. That is basically a month. And if you're dealing with a condition like erectile dysfunction, you want treatment ASAP. That's why our friends at Roman have spent years building a digital platform that can connect you with the doctor licensed in your state, all from the comfort of your home. Roman makes it convenient to get the treatment you need on your schedule. So just grab your phone or computer, complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. If a doctor decides that treatment's right for you, Roman's Pharmacy can ship your medication to you with free 2-day shipping. You also get free unlimited follow-ups with your doctor anytime you have questions or want to adjust your treatment plan. With Roman, there are no commitments and you can cancel anytime. So if you're struggling with ED, don't wait those 29 days. Go to GetRoman.com/NoDunks for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping. That's 27 less days. That's GetRoman.com/NoDunks for a free online visit and free 2-day shipping.
Guys, I hate couch shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about it. Going to try it out, worrying about delivery, assembly, all that. But Burrow takes care of all my worries. I recently put together a kitchen table and chairs with Danielle from a competitor that I will not name, but I wish it had been designed by Burrow. Because with Burrow, you can assemble your sofa in minutes and you don't need any tools. Check out burrow.com for the video. It's actually pretty cool to see it go from box to finished product. This thing I put together with Danielle had me on the verge of eruption. I had to go cool myself off on my Dolph Shays every few minutes so I didn't get angry because that Allen key kept slipping out of the hole. Now, Danielle didn't like that I was sitting on Dolph, especially because she likes calling it Danny Shays. And I'll never call it that because Danny's a short form of her name, and I'm still angry about that table and chairs. I think I need a new comfortable couch from Burrow that doesn't have a Dolph or a Danny. And oh, baby, you can customize your sofa with Burrow. Did somebody make a joke there? Because I just kept reading, and I would like to hear your joke.
No one did, I don't think.
Oh, man.
No, joke free.
I was just looking up whether Joe Burrow is a football player, which he definitely is.
Oh, definitely.
Nice.
Traffic.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, Burrow. Why do I know that name? Joe
Heisman
Burrow.
Trophy.
Yeah, LSU. I think he
There
gets
you go.
that. The Bengals got him, don't they?
Tiger to tiger.
Oh,
Just now, 2020.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm almost done here. It's got every detail you can think of on Burrow's website. High quality fabrics that are naturally scratch and stain resistant, and you can do all the shopping from home. Burrow's got it all, and you can always get fast and free shipping and 0 interest financing. So go to JoeBurrow.com. No. Go to burrow.com/no-dunks to get $75 off your purchase, plus fast and free shipping. See site for details. That's BURROW.com/no-dunks for $75 off.
I know what you're
done
thinking.
now.
I know what you're thinking. Is it weird to do these live ad reads while you're doing a live YouTube show? Absolutely. It absolutely is. But is it fun? You know it.
Well, I was burrowing down that ad read, and I thought I heard a joke. So I had to step back for a second. I had to take a breather, step away from the Allen key for a second, and say, "Was there a joke?" Yeah, and you never know with these headphones either. What's going on in these headphones? Sometimes you hear things late at night. There's
how tall do you think,
around here?
How tall do you think Joe Burrow is?
6'2".
Taller.
3.
Taller.
4.
That's correct.
Yes, I knew it.
Joe Burrow, he's the number 1 pick, right? He should talk to Burrow about some sort of deal here. Now that he's a professional, he can make some money.
Oh, this guy who doesn't look like a quarterback.
Yeah, he's got a weird look. But man, I can see that guy on a couch.
He's the guy whose favorite athlete of all time is Matthew Dellavedova, I think.
What?
I'm pretty sure that he's from Ohio, isn't he? I think he's from Ohio, that guy. Yeah. He loves Delhi. He loves Delhi. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Burrow, you're crazy, man. Not the couches, Joe Burrow. All right, let's keep it going here. Ratings were in last night, guys, for last night's NBA restart. TNT said Lakers-Clippers game drew an average of 3.4 million viewers, more than double the network's average viewership for a regular season telecast. Pelicans game garnered 2.1 million viewers. These are not eye-popping numbers. They're not gigantic. Trey, let's start with you. True or false? Last night's ratings were disappointing.
I don't know. What do I look like? A ratings genius? But I wouldn't say that they were record-breaking numbers. That's what you heard coming out of baseball. They had their biggest opening day ever. They had their most watched regular season game since 2011. You didn't hear the same news out of basketball, and you surely would have if that were the case in the NBA. But I know 100% of the people in my household were watching the NBA restart, and I know 100% of the people in my household were watching every single game today. So the ratings here are through the roof.
Okay, but you don't really care is what you're getting at here.
Not at all. I'm happy to have basketball back, and I'm going to be watching it. I hope other people do too, but if they don't, I don't really care because it's on my TV.
I don't know. Like I thought I saw Ethan Sherwood Strauss. He wrote something for The Athletic today about why these ratings might matter. Because I'm usually with you, Trey. I'm like, what do I care? I don't care if you watch it. I'm watching it. It's great. We're talking about it. We get paid to talk about it. It's even better. But ESS, his reasoning for why it might matter is because it could, in theory, have big implications for the sport in the near and then far term. And what he means is if the NBA just knocked it out of the park here with these bubble ratings, Lee, that would expand their options because, you'd be assured of like built-in television audience, and the league could maybe then like stave off the moment, I guess is how ESS put it, like to try and get back to ticket sales and back to live audiences. And it would just make it easier to renegotiate the next TV deal. If it's not the case and numbers are low or they dwindle or whatever, then you wonder if there's a rushing back. There's a desperation that sets in.
Yeah.
This is his theory. I thought it's a great article. Go check it out at The Athletic. But I mean, these were not huge numbers. And the NBA kept saying they were going to be massive too. Or I guess other people around them too were like, oh, these are going to be huge. Why wouldn't they be huge?
Yeah.
Everybody's at home, quarantine. Oh my God. And they weren't, Lee.
Yeah, no, they weren't. And again, LeBron, when he was in Cleveland, he would always have the 7:00 tip off because it was like everyone wanted to watch LeBron. Now he was on at 9:00 last night. Does that make much of a difference? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I thought they would have been bigger, but I also think Ethan mentions in that article, there's been so much recently with the NBA. When you think of that Warriors surge, I think that was probably when the NBA was at its peak because everyone was tuning in to watch everything about the NBA. There was so much, it was just so much fun watching them. And there's almost like a little bit of a hangover now where it's like, oh, well, what are we watching now? Like we've seen LeBron, the Warriors are great. Who's the next sort of big star? Who's the next team that's coming along? Is it James Harden? And the Rockets, do people sort of tune out because they don't enjoy watching him? Certainly not the same way they enjoyed that Warriors run where they came out of nowhere, really. But I also think a lot of it has to do with the fact that now everyone in the world, every single human has attention deficit disorder, and people can't sit down and watch a game anymore the way they used to. And that has been something that the NBA has actually kind of acknowledged over the last few years.
Yeah.
Adam Silver himself has said people very rarely now, certainly compared to historical data, will watch the start of the game all the way through to the end. Everyone's on their phone. Everyone's got something else on Netflix to watch. If the game is boring or you just lose interest, it's very hard for people to get back into the game. If people sort of tune off and tune into something else, they're gone. And I think that's a big problem with everything right now because, again, like if you go to the movies, for example, do you not look at your phone at all through a 2.5 hour, including previews movie? Or do you at some point just sort of glimpse at it and, like, well, what's going on?
I can't even remember what going to a movie
Yeah, what's a movie?
because go to one.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people just with their phone, because we've got access to every single thing we need on our phone now. You're sitting there, and if you get bored for 1 second, you're like, I just need to check something. I need to maybe just see what's happening.
But that doesn't matter to the ratings. The TV.
Well, it does. It does in terms of like people are like, you know what? I'll pick this game up whenever I want, or I'll see the highlights later on. I'll check House of Highlights on social media.
Yeah. Now you're getting to what might be the problem. Yes, I agree with that.
If people see like that awesome Zion pass that I put up last night behind,
you're part of the problem.
But people want to see that, and sometimes they just want to see 5 or 10 clips from a game that were the highlights. They don't need to sit through the game. And again, if you're an on the fence NBA fan, I can see that happening. I compare that to baseball, for example. If someone shows me someone socking a few dingers, great. That's all I need to see. I don't sit through the whole game.
You better name a baseball player right now.
Yeah, who's your favorite?
Aaron Judge.
Oh, he always says Judge.
That's his go-to. That's his go-to. He's in the pocket of the Knicks and the Yankees.
Yeah, for sure.
But I, that's the thing. I think people now just want to see, most part, they get so easily distracted from their phones that it's like, I'm not sitting through the whole game. I'm certainly not sitting through Pelicans, Jazz, and then Lakers and the Clippers. They might pick one of those games, and it tends to be the LeBron game. But again, 9:00 on the East Coast tip-off. Even though there's no school, it's summer. It's still late. Like people go to bed at 10.
Yeah, you do, for sure. No, well, what do you think, Tess? I mean, is it disappointing? Is this an issue? Are we worried?
Well, there's a billion parts to this. So this isn't a playoff game. It isn't even a season opener to compare it to Major League Baseball. If you want to compare it to a day, it's really, towards the end of a regular season. Like these games are March 29th in a regular calendar. It shouldn't be a big game. Okay, first off.
But it is a big game.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that.
It's different, yeah, but what doesn't mean the same thing as a Major League Baseball game. And the numbers aren't bad. I mean, it's comparable to the season opener. So like this year's NBA season opener when LA played, and there was a lot of baseball going on yesterday. And I like you said, Trey, at the beginning, like who cares? I don't know. I'm not a ratings man. We don't know what fills the coffers of the NBA, like how this is all split up, because you guys are all watching this on League Pass. Those numbers aren't part of ratings, and you guys aren't even young. I mean, the NBA skews young.
How dare you?
Yeah, you've got 2 monitors, Skeets.
I shotgunned a beer on last night's show. I'm like a kid. I'm in a frat.
Fellow kids, how do you do?
Hey, fellow kids.
Yeah,
Everyone have a Miller Life on them, and a knife that we could shock.
A Miller Life.
Miller Life and a knife. That's my type of life. Am I right? Yeah.
Everybody watching this show right now on YouTube doesn't watch basketball on television.
Okay,
I'm generalizing. I'm generalizing.
You might be right. Like,
okay, how about this one? Do you guys listen to full albums or do you just listen to the singles?
Well, no,
right? That's how it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
If you watch highlights, you're buying the singles. And guess what? Singles are a lot more popular than full albums.
But even League Pass isn't part of the ratings, and people pay for that. And you want to go music industry, you're paying the artist when you're paying the NBA instead of going around and having to pay through TV subscriptions. So it's totally different. And what Ethan is talking about, I mean, makes sense for the near term in terms of TV deals, and the advertising on a TV deal is more than what it would be through League Pass, and so the money is part of it. But I don't know how much getting a League Pass subscription matters to the NBA versus having somebody watch it on ESPN, because he says the numbers are still good. And I don't think he's lying. I think, everybody's cutting cords, especially the NBA in comparison to all other sports. People are watching it on legal streams, but he said League Pass is up. earlier this year. He said merchandising is up earlier this year. He said social media was still doing well. And so, yeah, the numbers weren't, I guess they weren't high for people like us who are nerding it out and are waiting for July 30th. But, I think there are a lot of factors. And again, it felt like a big game to us because they're back, but it really is just a regular season game. And a lot of people are not only just watching it on League Pass, but yeah, they're definitely just watching highlights. And that's a whole other argument or a whole other,
the concern is, do
people watch games?
Exactly. Do people prefer to just talk about basketball and maybe watch a show like ours about basketball than actually watch basketball, the games? Yeah. I mean, that could be a case. It could be a growing concern. And then you've got to figure out, you do have to have them, in theory, watching the games when it gets into, ad revenue and stuff like that. And they make a ton of money on these things. Yeah, I just thought it was fascinating. Let's hear from you guys out there, especially listening to the podcast. Let us know. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in.
But if League Pass is up, if League Pass sales are up, if that's true, then people are watching games, or people are watching at least their home games. And we've had a lot of international people email in and say, I get to watch 5 games a month with my League Pass subscription. So maybe that's not watching a lot of games. There's a lot of packages out there. So maybe Adam Silver is skewing the message out there when he said that earlier this year. But I guess people are watching games in a way, but I don't know.
So you'll be a little bit more concerned, it sounds like, come playoff time, if these numbers just cratered or something like that, or were shockingly low. And then you might be like, whoa, okay.
I thought those numbers were okay.
Okay.
But I don't know anything about ratings. So
let's leave it at that. All right, a couple more here. Zion update. We talked about this on last night's bubble wrap. The number 1 pick, he played only 15 minutes in the Pelicans' 2-point loss to the Jazz on Thursday. He was benched during crunch time. He didn't come back in. It was very perplexing. Today, David Griffin with the Pelicans, he said Zion will not play significant minutes in the next game, and maybe not the next one either. According to Chris Haynes, Zion not too happy maybe about this decision, though he's sort of, towing company line. It's tough to say, but true or false? Lee, start with you. The Pelicans are bungling this Zion situation here.
I'm going to say false for now, but it's not good. It doesn't look good when you have the star player. I mean, this guy could be the next big thing, and he's basically saying, "I want to get out there and play. I felt good. I should have gone out." And the team are saying, "No, you're only getting this amount of minutes," especially right now because it's like they can get into the playoffs if they win these games. And he looked fine last night again, moving ball. We talked about it on the show. So I think there's still plenty of time. This is only his first season, so I don't think it's like they've gone to the point of no return or anything like that. It's not great though, because the Pelicans, Anthony Davis was the star player, and he basically quit on the team and left because he didn't like playing there. And they haven't had a star player who can, even Anthony Davis, I mean, he's a good player, but he's not the sort of guy who puts fans in seats. Now, things are obviously a little bit different right now, but Zion, I believe, can be that guy, the franchise guy. They can really build around, get some excitement around him. So they want to make sure they get things right. David Griffin's a very smart man. He's a very well-spoken man. I'm sure he will get things right here, but it's certainly the optics of it aren't great right now because, he came back from the season. We thought he might miss the entire season. He came back and he started playing incredibly well, scoring easily. We could see the skills and the strengths that he had. And now he's come back and it's like the first game, things already look just a little bit weird, I'll say. So they've still got plenty of time. But I hope things don't get worse from here. I hope things it can be smoothed out, because it would be terrible if the Pelicans were to somehow mess this up with Zion and he's demanding a trade, or he's trying to leave the team at some point. But not quite there yet. But get rid of this sort of situation, I think, is important.
Yeah. David Griffin he said, if we bungled anything, it's like, I didn't tell you. Right. Meaning the media, meaning us, the fans, whatever, like this was the plan. I didn't make that very clear to you guys, but that's what we were always going to do with him. He was going to play in these short bursts. It was generally going to come at the start of quarters, not at the end, because he could stay warmer that way. And okay, that's my bad because we didn't tell you that. Not that we have to. That's what sort of David Griffin was saying. And then the other part is, Zion has not played a whole lot of 5-on-5 here in the last little while. And he's missed a bunch of time because he was gone for the family emergency. And so maybe they're just like, we got to prioritize the big picture here, the long play. But it's weird because you're there to try and make the playoffs and your star player isn't playing, a final 3-minute burst, even you throw them in the Jazz game and the Pelicans, I might pull that out, Trey. So what do you think? What you agree with Lee? Is it a false that they're screwing this up?
Yeah, it's hard to say they're bungling it. It just, to me, feels like we don't have the whole story, right? It's like David Griffin is smoothing things over after the fact, saying, I should have told everybody this was the plan. Okay, well, why was this the plan in the first place? We don't have all of the information of why they want to be taking things as slowly as they want to. Slowly is the smart way to play it, Mm-hmm. Zion already missed a huge chunk of his rookie season. He is going to be the face of their franchise for a long, long time. You don't want these things to rear their heads down the line, but I don't think that's something they need to be worried about at this point. They need to be worried about him being as healthy as he can be for the rest of his career. So, take it slowly. It would be nice if we could know exactly why they want to. But I don't think that that's always the case. I remember how frustrating it was when Derrick Rose was returning from his injury, and the messaging from the team and from his camp was completely different. And you just didn't know what was going on. And you just feel completely lost for figuring out why the player you're expecting to see isn't out there.
Well,
and
yeah, same thing with
confusing situation.
Same thing with Fultz, right? It's another similar thing. It's like, what is going on? Especially if
what's
you're a fan
going
of
on?
that team. Yeah. What do you think, Tass?
Yeah, there's two factors. It's New Orleans speaking to their fan base, to the media, David Griffin coming out and saying, here's a plan. So that message just doesn't exist. Do they care about that? Are they trying to keep it under wraps because they want to? Or there are sort of a lot of other stories that are, there's a lack of transparency, I think, in the NBA just right now with the bubble as well. But I guess that's probably just making an excuse. But I don't know. I guess if I'm a New Orleans fan, I really care that I didn't know that he wasn't playing, sort of regular minutes. He barely played, when you look at it. But then there's the other part where I think, which is the more important part, is that was that not communicated to Zion Williamson? Because, according to Chris Haynes of Yahoo Sports, Zion was very, very pissed. But is he just being a competitor and he was pissed and he wanted to play like any player who's on a minutes restriction wants to get out there? I'm guessing that's the case, and that they didn't bungle that part. And that's the most important thing. And I don't know if they're just playing it slow because of the injury. It sure feels that way. But then I take a step back and we kind of just throw that term injury on it. He's not hurt, but yeah.
Right.
So is it just every time he definitely was gone last week. Every time he comes back, he needs to slow play it. Maybe that's just how they need to play it until, it's sort of a Kawhi situation in a way too. Like until we're a year into it and he can just go at it, then maybe that's the way it's going to be. But it probably makes sense to communicate it to your fan base because it can hurt your fan base, I guess. And maybe that's why ratings were so bad for that first game.
Oh, yeah, 2.1 million. You're right. That's
bad.
Who knows? Or everybody tuned in at the beginning and they're like, what? He's only playing in bursts? I'm out of here. I got baseball.
How do the
watch.
Bursts add up?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch some socks, some homers.
We're gonna start. We're gonna start wrapping this up because we're talking too much about baseball and football now. We were gonna get to some other things, but we just got to move on. Yeah, the Magic they crushed the B-Nets 128-118. Orlando on fire, scoring the ball right now. You had the Suns defeating the Wizards 125-112. They're still alive, Tass. How dare you try and send them home? Devin Booker, 27 points. DeAndre Ayton, good game too. 24 points, 12 boards. They hit a ton of free throws. Lee,
they're way better on the road too. Sorry to get
them.
They're way better on the road than they are at home. So this is like, this feels good to them.
Right? Yeah, they're loving it. And then the final one was the Spurs holding off the Kings 129-120. De'Aaron Fox, career high 39 points. You wouldn't even know that was him with that new look. The dreads are gone, streamlined. We were debating that. Was it going to make him better or worse without that magical hair? Guess better. He's faster. He was unbelievable. But DeMar DeRozan, he took over down the stretch. I didn't watch this whole game. I watched a good chunk of the second half. But DeRozan, quiet first half, 27 and 10 in the second, and big buckets down the stretch. Man, huge stuff.
That's 10 assists too, by the way, not rebounds.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good point. It's a good point. Yeah. He's been racking up assists in the Spurs system, though. So those two teams, Spurs and Kings, they actually flipped positions in the standings. Spurs half a game ahead of the Kings. I believe I have that right. All right, love it. Well, boy of the night. Honorable mentions to Giannis, Luka, Nurkic, Trey Burke with the 8 threes, you said, Lee. Fox, of course, 39, career high. But James Harden steals it at the end. I was going to give it to Giannis, but Harden right there on my chest. 49 points, 14 of 20 from the floor, 18 of 21 from the free throw line. He left a couple out there, Lee. Could have had the 50. Missed a couple late. 3 threes, 9 boards, 8 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. Holy crap. What a line from James Harden. And he also helped the Rockets get the win, which means, Lee, high five, virtual high five. Yes, sir. The Rockets win. So that's a win for Lee and I, who had Houston. It was a pick-em versus Dallas, basically. So I'm 2-0. Lee's 1-1. And Tass and Trey, who had the Mavericks, you guys are 0-2. Still looking for your first W. What do we got here for Saturday, Tass?
That was a good pick, Trey. Very good pick.
I had it.
You want a high five too?
Sad high five.
Tomorrow, it's a 5-game schedule, and there's a quadruple header on ESPN.
Woo! My God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the good? I know it's a lot of teams we haven't seen play, right? Like, I mean, it's like the Raptors are playing, the Heat are playing.
The Raptors are on the late game against the Lakers.
Yeah,
it should be a good one. It's an 8:30 tip-off too.
Oh,
are we going to see Superfan?
Counting the minutes already.
Are we going to see Superfan in the virtual board?
Oh,
Nav or
Yeah.
Lakers?
No, not.
Nav.
No, not you.
Nav.
I bet
Hall
we
of
do.
Famer.
I bet we do. We saw a Dirk cutout tonight. That's the only thing I like about these virtual dumb fans. I hate how it looks otherwise, but I do like the odd little Easter egg. That's it.
I like empty chairs. So
Yeah.
the game start at 1:00 Eastern tomorrow. Miami, Denver, Utah, OKC, New Orleans Clippers, Lakers, Toronto are your 4 games on ESPN. So I'm not picking those 4. I'm picking the other one. The Sixers and the Pacers, identical records this year. Feels weird to say that at 39 and 26. And some, juicy stories with Simmons playing more off the ball and Shake Milton starting and Horford to the bench and Oladipo. How will he look? So a 5.5 point spread for the air quotes, quote unquotes, visiting Philadelphia 76ers going into Orlando/Indiana. Philly, 5.5 point favorite versus Indiana.
Let me pound the Sixers. I got the Sixers going 8-0 in the bubble, boys. Of course, I'm going to take them to cover this small line against Indiana. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, give me Philly.
Yeah, I think without Sabonis there, Oladipo's, I don't know if he's in or out of that lineup. Sixers have to win. They have to start playing better. I'll take the Sixers too.
Ooh, we might be high-fiving tomorrow night.
Well, you won't be high-fiving me, unfortunately, because I'm taking the Pacers. I think 5.5 points is too big of a line. All of these games are close right now. There's no home court advantage. The sight lines are ideal. Everyone can shoot. That's why every game comes down to the last play.
Oladipo's going to play in this game too, right? I mean, I know he keeps saying he may not, or I'll decide.
I don't know.
I mean, yes, he is.
He also went on The Masked Singer, and everybody knew it was him, but he still waited to the end to reveal it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What were you going to say, Lee?
On the ESPN page, it has him listed as out. But
I heard him say it too. He was playing coy. He was like, "We'll find out." And you're like,
"Oh, okay."
It's been like 4 months. I mean, you decide already. I think he's playing. I just think they're being sly with it. But Tass, who's your pick?
Well, I'm 0-2. My gut says the Pacers. That's just too big a line. And so I kind of just want to flip it and go against my gut. But then I could be 0 with Trey if we both lose. So I'm going to stick with the Pacers plus 5.5. Why not?
Okay. Wow, he's already
thinking
ahead here in tie situations. I love it.
No, I'm not thinking ahead. I just want to virtually high five Trey. I'm not thinking of the end of the month. I don't want Trey to be the only loser.
Oh yeah. Well, wait, hold on. This is the end of the month. I win. Who lost? You guys both lost. It was a quick month of July.
Let me go grab a Miller Lite.
All right. So
Life and a knife.
Life and a knife. Tass and And Trey have the Pacers to cover +5.5. Lee and I have the Sixers to win by 6 or more. Ooh, I like that. Sixers. It's gotta turn out that way, Lee. Guys, let's call it there. Let's get JD to bed.
Do you want me to do the tweet of the night?
I forgot about the tweet.
I don't know if you forgot or not, but I was gonna segue.
I actually did forget.
I was gonna segue into it beautifully because you gave James Harden Wallboy, and he technically gets tweet of the night, although it's Dan Devine, your man Devine over at the Ringer, who tweets about James Harden. Had this beauty. He said, maybe Harden's like the Postal Service. Sure, he travels and nobody really loves him. But when you take a step back and look at just how much shit he accomplishes all the goddamn time, it's staggering. It's true. Well done, Dan.
There you go, Dan. Love to give that man a hug for that tweet of the night.
Well done, Dan.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, I mean,
the WDD of the night.
Well done, Devine.
Well done, Dan.
Well done, Dan. The well done Dan of the night.
He really greased that one. He was the WDD 48.
Oh man, I've had some. I want to keep the Postal Service around. Don't get me wrong, but holy crap, I'm on a bad run of going to the Postal Service here, the USPS. I have gone, I think, 3 times now in a row, and left with the package that I was hoping to send that day.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that because of lines or problems with, I had the wrong sheet, this custom sheet. I'm trying to send some shoes to our buddy Dub up in Vancouver area. And they're telling me I have a custom sheet that I had filled out at home in advance so I could save myself time being in the post office. Oh my God. He's like, oh, that's from 2013. You need this one. I'm like, when's this one from? I thought he was going to say like last week. He's like, oh, this one's from 2016. And I was like, I grabbed the 2013 one from you last week. I mean, what's going on here? Love the Postal Service. Hope to see it stick around. I really do. Guys, email us your questions and comments. NoDunks@theathletic.com. Tweet them in at NoDunksInc. Make sure you subscribe to the No Dunks YouTube channel. I saw a lot of you have after the bubble wrap last night. Did some good numbers. So thank you so much for joining us live or watching it later. Just subscribe. Hit the like button. Helps us out. And if you download the show, especially through Apple Podcasts, leave us that sweet 5-star rating and review. All right. That's it for night 2 of Bubble Wrap. We'll be back. I can't believe this. We're working on the weekend. We'll be back Saturday night recapping all of the NBA's big games and storylines. Till then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us. I actually won't be here for Saturday and Sunday show. I'm going to be at the post office. Got some things to mail, so it's going to take me a while.
Yeah, you'll be gone a week, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We won't see you for a week.
Keep the USPS around. We need Dan Devine jokes. Thanks for joining us. And remember, Patty Mills is a saint. That's not a joke. He is.
Embrace the night, people.